Kira's hands were bruised, and her gray skin was marked with dust and dry blood. The cuffs around her wrists clicked tight as the human soldiers led her. Through the hallway of the warship, every light felt bright, every shadow felt like it had judgment. She didn't speak. There was only one thought in her mind: they must not find him. Her son, Eli, was still hiding in the wreckage. She had tucked him deep beneath a storage panel inside the broken escape pod. She had told him to stay quiet, to wait, to be brave. They brought her into a holding room, a chair, a table, 2 guards outside the door. She sat down slowly. The room smelled like metal and something bitter, like medicine. Her heart beat faster with each second. After what felt like an hour, the door opened. A human stepped in, tall, calm, with sharp blue eyes. He wore a dark uniform with silver marks on the shoulder. He closed the door behind him and placed a tablet on the table. "I'm Captain Aaron Carter," he said in a quiet voice. "You're Kira of the Philae." "Correct." She nodded once, but said nothing. "You crashed in one of our zones. You were with a small crew. You didn't fire. You didn't resist. But you didn't explain why you were here either." She looked up. "Because you wouldn't believe me." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "Try me." She shook her head. "I'll tell you nothing if it puts him at risk." Aaron leaned forward. "Your crew is being held in another part of the ship." But during the scan of the wreckage, one of my officers picked up a faint life sign too small to be an adult. That pod had signs of recent power loss. We're not fools. Kira's heart dropped. She didn't want to lie. She couldn't, and so, without thinking, she stood up, slammed her hands on the table, and said in a desperate voice, "Punish me, not my son." Her voice echoed in the cold room. The guards stepped forward, but Aaron raised a hand, stopping them. His face didn't show anger, not disgust, only surprise, and then something else, concern. "Your son," he said softly. "He's still out there." She sat back down and nodded slowly. "His name is Eli. He's 6. He's not like them. He's not like me either. He's just a child." Aaron didn't speak right away. He tapped on the tablet, then turned off the screen. "We're not monsters," he said. "If he's out there, I'll find him." Kira stared at him. "You'd say anything to trap me. To find him and use him?" "No," he said. "But if he's truly alone, scared, and hungry, then I need to get to him now." For the first time since her capture, her voice cracked. "He's in the cargo hold under the second panel on the left side. I sealed it tight. I told him not to move. Please, don't scare him." Aaron stood up without another word. Outside, the hallway was silent. He moved fast. No team. No weapons drawn. Just a tracker, a scanner, and the memory of her shaking voice. He reached the wreck. The pod had crash-landed near the edge of the field. Its front side crumpled but back mostly whole. He climbed inside, moving slowly. The scanner beeped, faint signal. Heat source, heart beating. He pulled open the panel. A pair of wide, glowing green eyes stared up at him. The boy didn't scream, just pulled his knees to his chest and whispered, "Mama, she's safe." Aaron said, "I'm a friend." Eli blinked. His face was thin, cheeks sunken a bit. He clutched a little crystal pendant, probably something his mother gave him for comfort. "Are you hungry?" Aaron asked. The boy nodded. "Come on, then. Let's get you food." Eli hesitated, then reached out, small fingers wrapped around Aaron's hand. Back at the ship, Kira waited. The guards said nothing. The clock moved slow. Every second hurt. Finally, the door opened. Aaron walked in, holding Eli in one arm. The boy was wrapped in a blanket and chewing on something soft from a food pack. Kira stood up so fast her chair fell back. "Eli," she gasped. The boy ran into her arms. They held each other tight. Aaron waited. When Kira looked at him again, her face was different. Not angry, not scared, just confused. "Why?" she asked. "Why would you help us?" "Because I've seen what war does to families," Aaron said. "And I don't want to be the kind of man who adds to it." "You risked your orders, yes? Your crew may not approve. They don't have to," he said. "But as long as I'm in command, you'll be treated with fairness." Kira touched Ellie's hair. You have no idea what you've done for us. Double quotes. Aaron nodded. Maybe not. But it felt right. As he left the room, he paused. Get some rest, he said over his shoulder. Tomorrow, we'll talk again. Not as enemies, maybe not even as strangers. Kira looked down at her son. He was smiling. A real smile. Something she hadn't seen in days. Maybe weeks. Her heart, which had been hardened by fear and pain, finally softened. Maybe not all humans were cruel. Maybe, just maybe, he had a heart that refused to punish the innocent. The next morning, the ship moved through calm space, but inside, tension remained. Kira sat beside her son on a soft bed in a temporary cabin. It wasn't a prison cell, but it wasn't freedom either. She still wore a tracking band around her wrist, though it no longer hurt. Eli was resting with his head in her lap, sleeping peacefully for the first time in days. A soft knock came at the door. Kira tensed, but it was Aaron again. This time, he wasn't wearing his full uniform, just a simple shirt and a relaxed expression. May I come in? He asked. Ira gave a small nod. He stepped in and sat on the edge of a chair across from her. How is he? He asked, nodding toward Eli. He slept, she whispered. He hadn't slept since our crash. Not truly. Aaron leaned forward, elbows on his knees. He's a brave kid. He shouldn't have to be, she said. He should be playing with friends, not hiding in escape pods. Aaron stayed quiet for a moment, then spoke gently. Do you want to tell me why you were really on that ship? Kira looked down at her son's small hand resting in hers. My people, they turned on each other. She began slowly. Not all of us supported the war. I was part of a science team, working on peaceful tech. When the generals took control, they forced us to develop weapons instead. When I refused, they threatened Eli. Aaron listened without interrupting. So I ran, she continued. I stole what I could from the research vault and fled with Eli. They hunted us. We barely escaped. That pod was our last chance. Aaron frowned. So the others in your crew were other defectors. She said, we planned to reach a neutral colony, ask for protection. But our ship was damaged. We ended up here. And the files you stole? Kira reached into her belt and pulled out a small silver disc, barely the size of a coin. Everything they were building. Weapon blueprints, locations, secret labs. This proves what they've been doing. Aaron took the disc and studied it. Why didn't you give this to us right away? Because I didn't know if you'd protect us or use it against us. Double quotes. Aaron stood. I'll have our engineers take a look. If what you're saying is true, this could change a lot. Kira held Eli tighter. I didn't do this to be a hero. I just wanted him safe. Aaron nodded. Sometimes doing the right thing doesn't look like heroism. It just looks like survival. He turned to leave but paused at the door. For now. Stay here. No one will bother you. But I have to report to the Galactic Council soon. Kira's face darkened. They won't believe me. Maybe, he said. But they'll believe Data. And I'll do what I can. Hours later, the warship slowed. As it reached the edge of the nearest human station, Captain Aaron stood in a private room, speaking to a council representative over a secure link. The councilwoman's face was stern. You found a fugitive carrying sensitive enemy data and chose not to report it. I'm reporting it now, Aaron said calmly. And she's not a fugitive. She's a whistleblower. That's not your call. Then make it yours, he said, sending the files from the disk. Check the data. If even half of this is true, her people are building something dangerous. The councilwoman was silent for a long moment as the files processed. I see, she finally said. This will need a full review. We'll decide what to do with the prisoner and the child after that. They're not prisoners, Aaron said firmly. They are not citizens either. The screen went dark. Back in the cabin, Eli woke up. Mama, he whispered. I'm here, Kira said, stroking his hair. He sat up and rubbed his eyes. Did the nice man come back? Kira smiled. He will. A few minutes later, the door opened again. It wasn't Aaron this time. It was a young woman in a medic coat, holding a tray. Hello there, the medic said kindly. I'm Lena. I brought you both some food. Ellie's face lit up. Real food, yes? Lena said with a smile. And warm too. Kira watched the woman carefully but accepted the tray. As Eli ate happily, Lena leaned toward Kira. I don't know what you did or didn't do. But Aaron, he doesn't help people unless they deserve it. You must have shown him something. Kira looked at her son. I didn't. He just saw us. Later that night, Captain Aaron walked through the control deck. His second officer, Brandon, followed beside him. You sure about this, sir? Brandon asked. We're carrying an enemy scientist. You've kept it quiet so far, but once we dock, everyone will know. I'm sure. Aaron said, You trust her. I trust what she did. She ran with her child. She saved him. She brought proof. That means something. Brandon shrugged. I hope you're right. Just before midnight, Kira stepped out of her room quietly. Eli was asleep again. She walked down the hallway and found the observation deck. The stars stretched out beyond the thick glass like glowing dust across a black sea. She didn't hear Aaron walk up behind her. Can't sleep either. He asked Kira. Shook her head. It's hard to relax when the whole galaxy wants to judge you. He stood beside her, hands behind his back. This is the first time Ellie's smiled in weeks, she said softly. And it's because of you. You gave him something more important than I ever could, Aaron replied. You gave him your protection, your strength. It wasn't strength, Kira said. It was fear. Fear of losing him. Aaron looked at the stars. Maybe fear and love aren't so different sometimes. Kira turned to him. What happens when we dock? Will they take him from me? Aaron didn't answer right away. I'll do everything I can to stop that. She looked at him, really looked this time. You care more than most humans I've met. He gave a small smile. I've seen too many innocents get crushed between powerful people. I don't want to be part of that. Kira lowered her eyes. Thank you. He nodded as the ship floated in silence. Two strangers from different worlds stood side by side, both watching the stars and both thinking of the same small child sleeping peacefully behind them. And for now, in that quiet moment, they felt like allies, maybe even something more. The space station floated quietly outside the viewing windows, its metal rings turning slowly. Bright lights blinked along its edges, and small ships moved in and out like bees around a hive. From the outside, it looked peaceful. Inside, decisions were about to be made, some that would change lives. Captain Aaron stood on the bridge with his second officer, Brandon. The crew was calm, but word had started to spread. Whispers about the alien woman, her child, and the hidden data. Some officers wanted answers. Others feared trouble. Aaron took a deep breath. Tell the crew to prepare for docking, and make sure Kira and Eli are not disturbed. Brandon hesitated. The council ship just arrived. They've sent a message. They want a formal meeting immediately. Aaron nodded. Set it up. I'll speak to them myself in her room. Kira helped Eli put on a fresh shirt given by the humans. He looked better now, clean, fed, and rested. His small smile gave her hope, but she couldn't ignore the storm that was coming. The council would decide soon, and she knew how harsh they could be. Mama, are we going home? Eli asked. Kira froze. Then she knelt down and looked him in the eyes. Not yet, she said softly. But we're somewhere safe, and we have friends here. Like Captain Aaron. She smiled a little. Yes, like him, in the station's council room. Captain Aaron stood tall before a group of high-ranking humans and aliens. They sat around a long glass table. Behind them, a large screen showed Kira's file, and the words security risk. Pending flashed in red. The lead counselor, a woman named Celora, folded her arms. Captain, she began, you brought a known Felari scientist aboard your ship and withheld full details from us for nearly 3 days. Do you understand how serious that is? Aaron didn't flinch. I do. But I did it for good reason. She's an enemy. She's a mother, Aaron said. A refugee. And she brought us information that could prevent war. Another counselor, a male with dark skin and silver eyes, leaned forward. You believe this because she told you a story? No, Aaron replied. I believe it because the files she gave us are real. My engineers verified it. The weapons plans. The labs, the targets, they're all real. She risked her life to bring that here. Sailora glanced at the screen. Even if this is true, she still broke laws. She entered restricted space. She damaged our systems during landing. And her species is under investigation. Then blame her, Aaron said firmly. But don't take it out on her son. He's just a child. The room fell quiet. Selo Ra sighed. Bring her in. Let's hear her side. Two guards led Kira into the room. She held Ellie's hand tightly. The boy looked up at the strange faces and stayed close to his mother. Aaron stood beside them. Calm but ready. Selo Ra looked at Kira. You've put us in a difficult position. Kira spoke clearly. I didn't come to make your life easy. I came to protect my son and stop a war. And now you ask for what mercy? Kira shook her head. Not for me, for him. She bent down and whispered in Ellie's ear. The boy nodded and walked to a nearby chair where Lena, the medic, was waiting. He sat quietly, swinging his feet. Everyone watched him, curious how such a small child had caused such big choices. Kira turned back to the council. I know how you see me, but ask yourselves this: why would I run, hide, and give away my people's darkest secrets if I was loyal to them? People lie, Sailora said. Then look at the data, Kira replied. My world's leaders plan to attack peaceful colonies. Their weapons can destroy entire moons. They're not just a threat to you. They're a threat to everyone. You expect us to believe you did this out of goodness? No. Kira said, I did it for him. The counselor with silver eyes leaned back. And if we don't let you stay, Kira's voice didn't shake, then send me away. Punish me. But let Eli grow up in peace. Don't turn him into a prisoner of my choices. Silence again. Finally, Sailora spoke. We'll take this into discussion. Wait outside. In the hallway, Kira leaned against the wall. Eli came to her side, wrapping his arms around her waist. Aaron joined them. You did well, he said. Will it matter? She asked. I don't know, Aaron said honestly. They fear what they don't understand, but they're not heartless. Eli looked up. Are we going to be okay? Kira pulled him close. Whatever happens, we stay together. Aaron looked away for a moment, then said, I made a promise to protect you both, and I will, even if it costs me. Why? Kira asked. Because you showed me who you really are. Not a scientist, not an alien, just a mother trying to do the right thing. An hour later, the council called them back. Selo Ra stood, holding a data pad. Her face was unreadable. We've reviewed the files, and after much debate, we have reached a decision. Kira held her breath. The data you brought is valuable, very valuable. We will act on it. As for your status, Sailora looked at Aaron. Captain, you are ordered to take responsibility for both the woman and the child. Their safety is now in your hands. Aaron blinked. You mean they will remain under your watch? Sailora said. They are not prisoners, but they are not free citizens either. If any harm comes to them, it will be your failure. Kira's knees almost gave out. Eli smiled. We can stay. Aaron nodded slowly. Yes, for now, Sailora added. But if anything changes, if the situation becomes unsafe, we will act. Kira bowed her head. Thank you. As they left the room, Eli held both his mother's and Aaron's hands. The boy didn't understand all the rules or the risks, but he understood that something important had happened, and for now, they were together. They were safe. But deep in Kira's mind, she knew peace never lasted long in the galaxy. Still, for today, it was enough. The ship hummed softly as it left the space station behind. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the windows, but inside, a storm was brewing. Captain Aaron knew the council's decision was only a pause, not peace. The moment Kira and Eli were out of sight, their enemies would still hunt them. Keira sat in the small cabin with Eli. The boy played quietly with a small metal toy Aaron had given him. It was strange, unlike anything from Filari culture, but Eli smiled. Mama, Eli said, why do people want to hurt us? Kira looked down, sadness heavy in her eyes. Sometimes, people are afraid of what they don't understand, Eli. frowned. But I'm not scary. No, she said, stroking his hair. You're not. Just then, a soft knock came on the door. Aaron stepped in, carrying a small tray of food. Thought you might be hungry, he said, setting the tray. Down. Keira smiled faintly. Thank you. Aaron looked at Eli, who was watching him curiously. You're doing good, little one. Eli grinned. Thanks. Aaron took a seat. Kira, we need to talk. She nodded. I know the council's orders don't mean freedom. No, Aaron said. And there's something else. They've started tracking the Filari warships. If they find out you're here, it won't be safe. Kira's heart clenched. So what do? Aaron looked out the window. We run. The next day, Kira and Aaron met with the ship's engineers. They pored over the silver disk Kira had given them. The data was shocking plans for weapons that could destroy planets, secret labs hidden in asteroid belts, and a brutal plan for war. This is worse than we thought, the chief engineer said. If these weapons get built, the galaxy could be thrown into chaos. Aaron turned to Kira. Why didn't your people speak out? She shook her head. Fear. Control. Anyone who disagreed was silenced. Aaron sighed. Then we have to act fast. That evening, Kira watched Eli play with other children in the ship's common area. Humans, Filari defectors, and others had gathered. For a moment, the war felt far away. Aaron approached her. You're stronger than you think. I have to be, she said, for Eli. He's lucky to have you. Kira smiled. And I'm lucky to have you. They looked at each other, understanding growing between them. Days passed. But the danger grew closer. The council sent warning messages. Patrols scanned nearby space. One night, Aaron gathered a trusted few. We can't wait for the council to decide, he said. Kira's knowledge is valuable, but it's also a threat to her life and Ellie's. We have to move. Where? A young officer asked. To the human settlers on Artemis colony. They don't care about politics. They care about people. Aaron looked at Kira. Are you ready? She nodded. For Eli. I'll do anything. The escape was tense. They moved quickly, avoiding patrol ships. Eli clung to Kira's hand, frightened but brave. As they neared Artemis colony, their ship was detected. Alarm sirens blared. Aaron shouted orders. Engage the jamming device. Kira held a small gadget she'd hidden. It hummed softly and sent pulses that scrambled enemy sensors. The pursuing ships faltered, giving them precious seconds to slip past. Good work, Aaron said. Eli looked up, eyes wide. Did I do that? Kira smiled. Yes, you did. You saved us. On Artemis. They were welcomed by the settlers, rough, independent people who valued truth and kindness. Kira stood before the colony leaders, telling her story. The settlers listened, their faces serious. When she finished, the leaders spoke. We don't care what the council says. You and your son are safe here. Eli laughed and ran into the open fields, chasing small creatures with glowing wings. Aaron watched. Feeling a rare peace. You saved them, Kira said softly. No, Aaron replied. We saved each other. But peace was fragile. News arrived that the Filari generals had learned of Kira's escape. Warships were gathering, ready to strike. Aaron prepared the colony defenses. He trained settlers and helped Kira ready her people. This is only the beginning, he warned. Kira nodded. Then we fight, not just for ourselves, but for a future where no child fears the dark. Eli stood beside them, small but determined. The final night before battle. Kira sat with Aaron beneath the stars. I was afraid I'd lose him, she whispered. You won't, Aaron said. He has your strength. And mine. She looked at him, hope shining in her eyes. Thank you for not being cruel, she said. Aaron smiled. A heart like mine, it couldn't punish a child. The first light of dawn stretched over the horizon as the colony prepared for the coming battle. Men and women, settlers and defectors, stood side by side, their faces set with determination. Children were kept safe inside, but Eli stood with his mother and Aaron, watching the sky. Kira held her son's hand tightly. She could see the fear and hope mixed in his young eyes. She squeezed his hand and whispered, We will protect you. No matter what, Aaron stood nearby, his gaze fixed on the approaching warships. Their shapes were dark against the brightening sky, fast, armed, and deadly. They won't show mercy, he said quietly. But neither will we. The Phalari warships descended like thunder, their engines roaring through space. The settlers' defenses lit up, firing beams and missiles, trying to keep the attackers at bay. Keira moved among the fighters, giving words of encouragement. Her hand shook, but her voice was steady. Eli watched from behind a protective wall, clutching a small charm his mother had given him, a symbol of hope and safety. The battle raged. Explosions shook the ground, and bright lights filled the sky. Soldiers fell, but the defenders held strong. Aaron fought with skill and courage, leading his people with steady hands. Kira's knowledge of the Phalari weapons helped the settlers aim for weak points. Slowly, the enemy ships began to retreat, damaged and broken. Cheers rose from the defenders. But the victory felt heavy. Many were lost, many more were still in danger. After the battle, Kira sat beside Eli, her body tired but her spirit alive. Aaron joined them, wiping sweat from his brow. "You are incredible," he said. "Your courage helped save this place." Kira shook her head. "It was everyone. Together." Eli looked up at Aaron. "Will they come back?" Aaron smiled gently. "If they do, we'll be ready, and I'll be here," Kira added, "with my son." Aaron looked at them both, feeling a deep respect. Days later, the colony sent messages across the galaxy. News of the battle, the war crimes exposed by Kira, and the bravery of the settlers. The Galactic Council was forced to respond. Investigations began into the Phalari general's plans. Allies offered support. Kira and Eli were no longer just fugitives. They were symbols of hope. Aaron was reinstated, praised for his actions, but he declined rank and power. He chose to stay with the settlers, with Kira and Eli. One evening, as the stars twinkled above, Kira, Eli, and Aaron sat by a fire outside the colony. Eli played with his toy, laughing freely. Kira smiled, her heart lighter than it had been in years. Aaron looked at Kira. "You asked me once why I helped you." She nodded. "I'll tell you again," he said softly. "Because no heart that's truly human could ever punish a child." Kira reached out and took his hand. "Thank you," she whispered. Eli looked up and smiled at them both. The galaxy was vast, and dangers still lurked in the shadows. But here, in this small corner, a new family had found peace. And that was worth fighting for.